2021 vibes, Weekend at Gabe's here with Weekend Gabe, holding you down like we always do around this time. It's Friday night, so that means we're in the second show of the week. Hopefully everyone had a great new year, a safe new year, because that's exactly what we want from everyone, is a safe new year, and hopefully everyone did that and is coming out in 2021 with no virus. There's all these crazy stories of people avoiding these mass gatherings with families. So I'm glad that if you were able to do that, good for you. Congrats, you made it. But yeah, we're in a new year, our first show of 2021. We got a great show lined up tonight. Lily B, a spoken word Moth Grand Slam champion. She's going to be joining us in about 5 minutes, actually. And we're just going to check in on her. She has a workshop that she does every Saturday online. So we'll let you know how you can get down with that and improve your storytelling and writing capabilities and just see what she came away from 2020 with. And I know she has a number of personal experiences that she can grapple to, but it's always just good to have someone to shrink all the chaos of last year and down to something that is fully understandable and relatable. So we're checking with Lily B in about 5 minutes at 8:10. And then coming up at 8:40, Chicago MC Maestro Locke. He has a new album, Adam, that's out. It's a refreshing look at Chicago hip hop. So he's a bit of a newer, maybe not a newer voice, but definitely newer to my ears. So we're going to check in with him at 8:40 before we wrap at 9 o'clock tonight. So thanks for everyone who are checking out Weekend at Gabe's. Don't forget to give us a follow at Weekend Gabe, as we always ask for your love and support. Things that happened today that I only care about. My stimmy check hit, which means that I can pay my bills and not be homeless. So that's good. In case you were wondering, I haven't been following this, your United States Senate, i.e. Mitch McConnell, decided that $600 was just enough to get everyone by. And $2,000 checks are not coming. So maybe Uncle Joe will be able to help us out in some capacity with that in the new administration. We'll find out. But either way, it looks like everyone's stimmy is starting to land into their accounts, which is good news for everyone who really is struggling. And even if you're not struggling and the government gives you $600 or however many dollars, stop worrying about what the fuck other people are doing with their money. All right, we have this bad habit as Americans to giving a fuck what other people do with their money. Don't worry about what other people are doing and whether they're deserving. Do what you need to do with your dollars. How about that? That shit bothers me. And there was a Republican senator, I don't know who it was, but he was getting on the Senate floor talking about, all people are going to do is go to Target and buy and Best Buy. Who gives a fuck what they do with their money? Do these same Republican senators go to big businesses and corporations when they give them tax breaks and then use those tax dollars to buy back stocks or give out bonuses? Do they ask them like, hey, with all the additional money that you're about to give, you shouldn't do that? But they have the audacity to tell Americans what they shouldn't do or how to spend their dollars, while also looking for the economy to be stimulated, which are Best Buy and Target and the Walmarts of this country and this nation, which have generated billions of dollars over the time of the pandemic. That shit bothers me at all. Like, stop counting what's in the next person's pocket. Worry about your own shit. Unless you are a corporation like an Amazon or Jeff Bezos that generated $36 additional billion over the course of the pandemic and is looking for tax cuts or tax breaks from cities so they can open up new warehouses. Those folks don't need anything right now. Americans need help right now. Turn on your local news. There are food banks for lines, for blocks. The same lines that you often see people who are waiting in line to vote, those same lines are for people who just are hungry and need food for them and their kids. That is not happening outside of this country. That's happening every day, where food banks do not have enough to support the families who are not working or are not able to support their families. That is real shit. And so for our Congress to once again stifle and prohibit families from getting at least a little bit in their pockets, that's fucking unacceptable. But shout out to Mitch McConnell, always doing his best to be at his worst. Other than that, that's the only news that I care about. But shout out to everyone who got a stimmy check. Good for you. All right, I'm going to jump into our next guest who is joining us. And always is a pleasure to join us, especially on our new endeavor, Weekend at Gabe's with Weekend Gabe. It is a pleasure to have back the Moth Grand Slam champion, Lily B, also the face and the heart of Humble Park. Good evening. How are you tonight?
What's up? Hey, that's too much. There's so many Humble Parkians right now. Like, what? This bitch. Um, I say Chi Town. I've lived a little bit of everywhere. Born and raised Humble Park, that's for sure. But I've lived a little bit of everywhere in the city, so I feel like I'm around the way.
You have claim to everywhere. But
A little bit here, a little Pilsen, little Lakeview, little yeah, gosh, south, north, east. Like I've been a little bit of everywhere. So
I always loved is when Humboldt Park began becoming like super gentrified about 5 years ago, and then like all the Humboldt Park Facebook pages started like populating, and all the gentrifiers and invaders were like talking crazy about like the culture in the area and like, oh my god, the noise is so loud, and you're like one of the people really on the front lines, like shut the fuck up, like
it was so annoying, Gabe. It was so annoying. I got into a fight. It was what was is all I remember is that it was a little. It might have been every block, one of those. You know how like
yeah, exactly, yeah, it's one of like 5 or 6 years ago, yeah.
like every block, but something, and it was something about like these parents don't care about their children, letting them play in the fire hydrant, and I was like,
Like,
I was
yeah,
so upset. I was like, bitch, I mean, and then I got called a horrible parent, but here my son is, college graduate. Like, it was just like, yo, please. And then,
yeah.
no, I was very annoyed. It was so annoying.
My favorite is when people would go like, all the shops on Division, they don't have anything that I need or that I want, and it's like that's a problem. I'm like, are you fucking nuts?
Really? They don't carry 50 mayonnaises.
It all has seasoning. What am I going to do with that?
What is this Goye? Just come on now. Like I was, yeah, it was very frustrating. It was like these old men playing in the park, playing their drums in the park on Saturday. Like that's what they do. That's what old men in whole park do. They get together, play some drums, play some dominoes. Yeah, what? Oh gosh, what do y'all do? That's really the sadder part. What are y'all doing? Just sitting all day long in your quiet little get out.
Yeah, my wife has had to go on the Logan Square page a few times and like treat people who like coming into a neighborhood that she spent her entire life living in and check them on like the culture. Like these fireworks are really out of control. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens.
Well, they don't do that. They take it to like a park. There's a technician. They have a fireworks technician.
Your crazy uncle is the technician.
Right, no. We got Uncle Lalo. Uncle Lalo went to Indiana, picked up a bunch of fireworks.
Exactly.
He got it. He down. He down to lose a finger. He don't care. So yeah.
But you always been on the front line. That's why you're one of my heroes. And I always appreciate you being like very outspoken and defending the few of us that are still left behind. But Happy New Year. Hopefully you had a safe New Year last night. Did you do anything exciting, or like the rest of us, you were in bed by like 11?
I know. What's funny is I got dressed up to do a Discord event. Like I was Scoppy Magazine hosted a Discord party.
Yeah.
So everybody doing these like virtual things. And it's no different than Lily B in the real world. Like it's just now on the internet. So I got dressed up like gold. I was dripping in gold. They thought I was kidding, but I was like, I'm gonna act like I'm going out and then camp out in my living room. It's really just been the dream I've always had on New Year's. It's like I want to get dressed up and glammed up, but I don't want to have to bear the cold, pay for parking, pay for drinks. I just want to go. I want to get dressed up and then, and then just at the end of the night go to like open, yeah, just close my computer and just go lay down in my bed. Like
Yeah.
it was perfect. It was perfect. No, I stayed home and I was up till midnight, and then everybody I knew though was asleep. So I'm calling everybody at midnight. Nobody's answering their phone. I'm like, did I get left behind? Like what is going on? So yeah, no, but yeah, I didn't. I just I rang it in the way, Latinos ring it in. Got some drink, got some grapes, you know.
I, 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 I took a late nap with the baby, and then I woke up about 7, and I was just like groggy the rest of the day. Like I was just ready for the entire day to be over.
Oh yeah, no, this definitely that time where naps become sleep real easy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Trust me. Yeah, I mean naps are great though. I try to tell people naps are fantastic. I wish I worked in a profession that allowed me to have naps during the day. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Do you know that there is a nap ministry, right? There is
I,
a nap ministry run by Trisha Hershey where she encourages naps as a form of radical liberation. Basically, if you ain't taking naps, you part of this, you part of the problem. Because we're supposed to be rested. Nowhere in our DNA or makeup should we be working till we die, right? Like
You're
we
right.
should be able to like rest, and these are like forms of liberation. And so yeah, the nap ministry preaches that everyone is entitled to a nap. She did an exhibit here in Chicago where she was just like putting beds in the park, and if you were on your lunch break, come here, take a nap. Like fuck, take a nap. If they tell you what you were doing, I was resting. What they gonna do? Like write me up? Well, so what? You took a nap. You
Yeah.
stuck it to them. So yeah.
I think it's like sometimes if you take that nap like too late, like I did last night, it was like from like 5 to 7. It's like what you're saying. It's like it's too close to like bedtime, so it's confusing.
You wake up, you're like, what?
It's like it's almost bedtime. Damn it!
I
Then
know. Is it tomorrow or to like wait, is it really early tomorrow? I've done that where I've gotten up at like 10 o'clock and I'm like, oh shit, I missed the whole day. No, wait, is it tomorrow? Did I time travel? What's happening?
yeah,
Uh
it's a weird experience. You got to be careful with naps. Naps can be dangerous.
yeah, but they're so good. Oh my goodness. Give me a
Yeah.
nap.
Well, I wanted to bring you on because I enjoyed talking to you with first off, and who better to try to explain the shit year that we had than you, who can really like narrow it down into a sandwich of information. But this past year obviously was not the best for anyone. But when you reflect, and I'm as a storyteller and someone who is able to capture moments. How would you describe your experience during the past 12 months?
I I'm do you know how like I'm a Gen Xer, right? There's something about Gen Xers that just like how is this any different than 1987 latchkey kid, right? Like how is this where you like gotta be home when street lights go on, like these weird kind of. So for me, I really took to it as like, okay, nothing's really I'm not really sure what is or what isn't, right? Like I don't know, am I gonna be able to go back to work, am I not? I took it for I took it as ain't shit happening to me, is happening for me. So how can I
Mm.
use this as a catalyst or a jump off point for something that I can, why have I needed this in my life? Because I stopped speaking from like not having, because that's one thing that will lead people to, as someone who's dealt with depression and someone who's dealt with like just PTSD and shit like that, right? It's just like it's real easy to take the not have and go down a spiral of more not having, right? And just start thinking of like, I don't have the outside. I don't have. So for me, it was like, how am I gonna make this fun? How can I make this fun while also being serious or taking it seriously, because it's still a serious,
Mm-hmm.
so, people health and people are dying and stuff. But then um do something, right? Make use of the time, because every day, come on now, every day was like, we had killer bees. We had shit that I was like, are we even? What is this timeline? Are we in the Biff Tannen? Like, did we take the almanac? What happened? Like, who gave Biff the almanac, right? And we living in this dystopian ass future. So it just seemed, the more and more the time went on, it seems surreal more and more. So I was like, how can we do this? And so my thing was like, how can I help? How can I be of service? If I and how can and who do I need to ask for help? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's basically what I spent the pandemic doing, is like, okay, Lily, you can ask for some fucking help. You by yourself in your damn house. I have a thyroid condition that made me kind of like on the spectrum, because I didn't know in the beginning. Who knew? Like, am I not? More
Right.
susceptible and least susceptible. This the whole thing has just been like a mind fuck. It was a whole mind
Yeah.
fuck. So for me, I really took it as like, this is not happening to me. This isn't like an attack on me. This is something that I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work this like I would work any kind of thing that came my way. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, all right, what am I gonna do today? I'm gonna sign up for a Udemy course. Today I'm gonna take 10 naps. Let's see if I can get 11 in. Make it a game. Let's make it a game.
Yeah.
I converted all my plants to leca, so I have hydroponic plants now instead of dirt plants, because I was like, I'm not trying to go to no damn Home Depot right now. They're not following social distancing, so anything like, I was just doing what I do. Everyone did it different, and I was really about that. I was like, just do it. That's who I've been. Do it. I was telling everybody, just do it, do it. I'm thinking about starting a channel on YouTube about collecting spoons. Do it, do it. Well, what's anyone gonna say? You could always blame it on Corona. You could always say like,
Right.
just do it, do it. Yeah, get your little spoon collecting show going.
Spoonies. Uh,
See, it writes itself. Fucking writes itself.
I, I thought the same thing when all this shit was happening. I was developing an idea to do like in-person interviews with people at their favorite food locations and talk food, culture, art, and then the world stopped, obviously, and I just stopped. And I was just one of those people that like the everything that was happening just like affected me very emotionally negatively. And then of course, then once we got into the rioting and then all the other additional layers of complexities with this country, that just added another like reason not to want to do anything but just stay still and not be. And I think I kind of, and I now in sort of retrospect, I think about this. I think it's one of those, you just don't want to do anything to feel like you're furthering, like making things worse, and you're just waiting for things to stop just so you can feel safe. And
Yeah.
I think I fell into that cocoon of just like, don't do anything, don't create anything, don't just be, just watch TV. Shut up. Yeah.
In those moments of like, especially when there was like civil unrest and stuff, I legit was like, hey, rich white friend, all that money you got? Give it here. Like, I was straight up like jacking people virtually. I was like,
shaking down people.
I was totally shaking people down, because why not? Because what you gonna say? What you gonna say? Like, oh no, I have too much, or like I have, like, what are you gonna say? Here's 10 organizations right now. Right now, I said, hey, I have a story. So I started hosting storytelling classes for free, basically. And the only real thing so I was like, look, I got a storytelling class I'm hosting from this time to this time. if you want to sponsor a storyteller, donate to one of these 10 organizations and show me the receipt. Donate the cost of my class to any of these. I think it was 4 organizations, 4 or 5, and send me the receipt, and I will open up a spot. And I opened like 35 spots. And I only can fit 10 people in my class. So now 10 class, like 3 classes back to back, uh were for nothing but free students. But it to me, it's like that's what I had. That's what I could do. Because if I don't do nothing, I'm just not a don't do nothing as person, right? Like I can't because I've just never been that. I moved out of my house when I was 15 years old because I had it with the neighborhood. I was like, I am done with this bullshit. I'm out. And my mom was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm out. Where are you gonna go? We'll see. And then I ended up with like living with who would become my son's father, his dad. Like I was like, here we go. So then, because I was done. I was like, I'm done dealing with these fucking bitches trying to jump me every day because they think I'm fucking the dudes that why I don't want you. I've known these dudes since they were little kids. Like, the hood shit where it's just like, why are you talking to my man? My grandma babysat your man. Like, shut up. So
your stories, although probably years ahead of my mother, sound exactly identical to growing up in Humboldt Park, Logan Square, because she's told me the same shit.
Right. You like, I'm a nerd. I'm going to school. Like, and they're like, why are you talking to my man? Like, my grandma and your man's grandma known each other since before any of us. Like that, but they didn't matter, like, oh, you smart girl, like go to Lane, you got titties. Like it was just one of them things. And I was like, I'm not fucking your man. He knows my grandma. My grandma, they buy lotto tickets together. He probably trying to get some money back. And sometimes I'd be like, who is your fucking man? Like that just goes to show you who the fuck you are. Because I'm like, who is your man? I don't even know you. And so I had enough of that, and I was like, I'm out of here. Like,
Yeah.
And I left at 15. So I've always been just that bitch, was just like, all right, I've had it. I've had it with you. I've had it with you. I've had it with all this lip service. And then I've just gone and done my thing, kind of breaking boundaries in my own way.
I wish I would have figured that out though earlier. And like this show started in September, right? I think right after my birthday in late September. And I wish I would have done it earlier because there could have been so much that I could have talked about with other people and kind of worked through some of these feelings I was having. Did creating that workshop, that space, kind of like you were saying, like you need to stay busy, but did it also kind of like help also with any of your anxiety and depression that was happening in the world?
I think the storytelling period, right, has kind of helped with all of that, with understanding that like it ain't just me, it's not just
no.
And I have what I think I have. There's people that have it worse. There's people that have it better. It's just like I know that what I have is mine, and at least I can live with it. Like I just did a little Instagram. I do these daily Instagram videos where it's just like, this is what I've learned on my journey, 42 years journey so far of living. And I live, like living with anxiety or depression. I live with it. They're my roommates. It's not something I have to. I've learned to live with them. They gonna drink my milk in the fridge. Yeah, that's how I look at them. Like that's how I look at these things I live with. Is like we gonna have to deal with each other, and I guess.
Yeah.
Like I guess. But again, everyone handles it different. That's why I do these little like I call them doña wisdoms, because my way of handling depression ain't gonna be your way of handling depression, right? And it's not gonna. There is no real universal fix to this shit. But you ain't gonna find it doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna happen doing nothing is what I have found, or I have not found it, because I'm trying to get away from like y'all. I'm trying to stay more like I have discovered that not doing anything is what dug me into like how you can say I now know I should have done this sooner. Now next time you are in a position where you want to do something, you might do it sooner than waiting, right? So it's like, but again, there are people who are just like, I'm gonna do it now. Fuck it, like
Right.
that's I think where I'm at right now, where I'm just like, man, let's just fucking do it. Who cares? I still ain't cut my hair though in the pandemic, which no,
Oh,
no, I ain't doing that. I know myself. That's another thing. I know myself, and I know I would not be happy with what I did, and then I would just no. So I ain't cut my hair in the pandemic, even though. Ugh.
yeah. We've been trying to get my son who hasn't cut his hair since January. Well, I okay, hang on. So I did attempt to try to get him to cut his hair. It's like down to like his shoulder. He's letting it grow for almost a year now. And I took him to the barber. I'm like, hey, you tell him what you want because I don't know what the fuck you want. So you tell him what you want, and he's like, hey, I just need it like kind of evened out. And the barber, to his credit, just did exactly what he wanted. And I ended up spending like $20 for the barber to like fucking comb his hair for him. That's what he did. He took like a little bit off the bottom, and my wife's like, "What did he cut?" I was like, "I don't know." It's like his hair is combed though, because my son refuses to comb his hair.
Old your son?
The oldest is 11.
Oh so, yeah, no, that's about right.
He's checked out. Like this whole process is like I was like, bro, like you can't just keep wearing your same clothes that you had yesterday. We need to change our clothes still. It's like we're not going anywhere. I'm like, that doesn't matter. it's just proper hygiene.
Right. I kind of like at 11 they're already going through that, but why can't I stink? Like right, because their body's changing like because you stink now, because that's what's happening to your body. But then now throw a pandemic on top of there. I can see the dilemma, and I never even thought of. I hadn't even stopped to think about all the stinky households. Like the layer of stink now that
all the funk that's coming out of people's homes. Oh yeah,
all the funk that is in the house now, because these teenagers, I mean, they get to an age. My son did the growing hair wouldn't comb it thing, and I was like, if you don't comb that fucking hair, because it's like if you're gonna grow it, at least comb it so you don't look
crazy.
So you don't look like I'm DCFS.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, that's what they'll do. Like Miss Lucio's son's looking like he don't eat no, he's choosing to like not like eat nothing but Cheetos, and he's like 11 years old. He knows how to open a cabinet and a fridge, put a comb through his hair.
I'm going through all these same things too. So it's like I mean now we don't have DCFS, we just have Zoom. So it's like it's expected that your kid is expected not to look so great on camera because all of them are waking up just in time to jump into their class.
Oh, okay, sorry, all right. Oh no. I'm so I'm just again I had my son young, so by 36 I was empty nester, life hack. But when I think about the parents now, I'm like hats off to y'all, because I can't even imagine having to work from home and put a kid through school and then still have to deal with the social on top of that, most of that is compartmentalized in their little set. They deal with social shit at school, and they deal with school shit at school, and then they deal with home shit at home. Now it's all in one place. Oh my goodness. So more power to y'all. I'm a nanny, so I got a little 3-year-old that I'm 2-year-old. What do you know? Nothing. He don't know nothing yet, but 11, oh man. Good job on you, for real.
I mean, it's truly difficult. And he started a new school this year too, and so he's going into like this virtual class, not knowing anyone, which adds an additional difficulty to him just sort of learning and being accepted by the kids in his class. And we had like a bit of a bullying. I don't want to say bullying situation, but one of the kids kind of like put something in the chat space about him that wasn't really nice. And it's like when you're already feeling like you're alone and then you see other people saying bad things about you, it's like it just adds, to already your insecurities. And so I can't imagine, like, besides students struggling with the mental aspect of maintaining work and staying focused in front of a screen all day, then you add the other layer of just, human contact or their lack of, and the only
Mhm.
contact you have is with people that don't really like you or respect you. As like for a 10 or 11, 9-year old who's dealing with that, it's like it's huge.
Mhm.
And I think for sure that this whole endeavor is going to set a generation of kids back, and there's going to be
Yeah, and I
therapy
think that
needed
that's
for
the
everyone.
problem. That's the problem. Not to interrupt you, but there's the problem, right? It's like that's my issue. If I do take issue with where we are, right? As a society, is that the idea that we ain't taking a look at how this is going to affect the the people we become, right? Like you have whole groups of kids. And I'm thinking even of like the little baby that I nanny, right? A 2 year old who right now should be around other 2 year olds, getting to
Yep.
learn how to be around. How's that? Who are those kids going to become in the future that we are now? We're bound to go back to some type of going out and being around each other again. But then what are where who are we gonna be? And if we're not even taking, if all it is metrics at this point, which is like make sure they sign in, make sure they're doing what they got to do, make sure they turn in their assignments, and we're not really taking care of them emotionally, mentally, you know,
Yeah.
then we have, are we, I mean, come on now, look. It's just it frustrates me. That is the part that I'm like, I don't let them get a fucking D. Let them get a D, but let them feel good about that D. And you know, let them feel good. Let them go home and be like, look, I know I can do better, but at least know that it's because, like you said, we're setting them back, but we're not just up here, right? Like the whole of them
Oh
is being
yeah.
set back, right? In a world, in a way that is like we can't even gauge because when has this happened? Like how do we know and in what ways is it going to be? And I just that's where instead of worrying about the bullshit, we should start considering like, are there any things that we can do as, I mean, I say start some Zoom game rooms, or I don't know. Like I don't have the answers. I don't know, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, poor babies. I want to hug them all, but we can't 6 feet. Like
Air high fives for everyone.
I know. And, oh, what is this? What is this? It's like, damn. I'm gonna make a whole list. Like,
So,
ugh.
I, but before I let you go, please plug your. Do you have any more seats available for your workshop, or you are locked up until the next?
January 30th. So there'll be Saturday and Sunday workshops starting at the end of January. Right now I'm in the middle of it's all on my website, stoopstylestories.com. And you'll see the new schedule for the new workshops that are coming. There's 6 week story neighborhood workshops. I do a free one every Saturday on Zoom that you can register for, again, on stoopstylestories.com. I got a bunch of stuff coming up at the Filet Solo Festival, which again, all that is on the website. Lily B 606 on Instagram, and and just Lily B LilYbe. I guess I'm sure if you look me up, I'll be out there. Plus storyteller, I'll come up and add me. I add everybody. Trust me, I don't care. I'm just like, yeah, come on, come on. You'll find out. You'll find out who I am, and then if I can be, and real talk, if I can be of service to artists and communities and people, I will be. All you got to do is ask, and I'll make myself available, because that's the least I can do in times like this. If I got it, I'll give it. That's
All
it.
right then. Well, what do you as we entered into the new year in about a minute or so? What do you minute what we have left with you? Well, what are you most looking forward to for this year?
Oh wow. Oh wow. Just making more. Like I'm just gonna keep creating. That's what I'm gonna do. Whatever that means, in whatever capacity that is. I'm looking forward to more creating and innovating and changing things for the better. Crossing fingers.
There you go.
That's
I
it.
like it. Well,
Yeah.
well, Lily, thank you so much for joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. I appreciate your time so much. I'm so glad that you're doing well and everything is going as good as it could possibly go. Please let me know how I can support, or maybe I'll try to get on one of your workshops on a
I'll come
Saturday.
through. I got like 20 something scholarships, so come on through. You can get one. We already had all these rich white people pay for them, so come get one. Uh, yeah, BIPOC only. I'm sorry, y'all.
Well, it all depends on how the kids are behaving. So if they're all out of control, then I can't focus and forget about it. Then
That's all right. I'll put them on the mic.
the oldest has logged more radio time than any 11-year-old that I know. So
Oh,
he's nice. He's good.
all right. There we go. Put them through. Send them through.
I had to drag him with me on these things, but we'll see how he goes. But enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much. Once again, have a happy New Year today and going forward. Please let me know whatever I can do to support.
Got you. Likewise. Happy New Year. Take care. Thanks.
All right, Lily. That's Lily B here on Weekend at Gabe's. We're gonna be talking. Excuse me. We're gonna be talking with Maestro Locke in just a few minutes as he gets ready to join us to talk about his new album, Adam, that just dropped near the end of 2020. So he's going to be joining us. We'll talk a little bit of hip hop here on Weekend at Gabe's. Once again, give us a follow on the internets at Weekend Gabe on all social media platforms to follow. This past couple weeks has been really a difficult time for some of our favorite faces in hip hop have passed. Escasy from the 80s and 90s group Houdini, he passed away. And then last night we learned that in October that supervillain MC MF Doom died or passed away. And so the world is definitely at a loss for both of those key figures in hip hop. And so for my when we get back on Vocalo next week, I'll probably try to put together a piece for that and talk to a few people about that. So maybe next week we'll get some guests to talk about MF Doom and his impact, because I think that he was a very unorthodox, I want to say brilliant MC who pushed the boundaries of hip hop and sort of an unexpected I would say superstar, but like just a name that doesn't get a lot of notoriety as far as when you go into, the best ever. But when you say the name MF Doom, lights will begin to flicker and people will begin to tell you how much they love him or loved him. And I think that's important, for people to keep his memory going and really appreciate his discography and his impact on the hip hop culture. And there's so many tribute messages being sent on Twitter and Instagram in the last 24 hours, and it's been such for someone that respects and loves hip hop history, to learn more about him and see where he came from and see his growth as an artist. The Mad Villainy album he did with Madlib is phenomenal. If you never heard it, please go put that into your life. And the instrumental albums that he put out of his own production is fantastic. It's the guy just had like an everlasting mystique about him with the mask. And people talk about his I think it was the 2008 or 9 show that he did at the Congress here in Chicago, where he sent one of his Doom bots, someone that would lip sync his raps, and the Congress just went absolute nuts in anger and just pelted the stage with bottles. And there's just so many great stories about like what he tried to do and what he was able to do. So rest in peace to MF Doom, the Escasy, the whole Houdini camp. And we didn't even talk about the breakdancing performer Boogaloo, who also from the Breaking films also passed away this past week. So just been a lot of different a lot of key figures in hip hop who are no longer with us. And it's such a disappointment. So we're gonna switch and segue over to our next guest, and he's a Chicago MC who just dropped his new album titled Adam right at the end of the year, and he joins us now, Maestro Locke, here on Weekend at Gabe's. Let's pull him in and have a conversation with him. Good evening, sir. How are you? Can you see us?
Yes, sir, I can. Good evening.
Good. I imagine you're with us, but it looks like you're kind of stalled out on your screen. But maybe that's me. I don't know. But good evening. I'm glad you could join us, Maestro Locke. New album Adam is out there on all streaming platforms. How was your New Year? Oh, looks like we might have lost Maestro. Maybe we can get him back. Let's see if we can close this for a second. Let's see if this works. Maestro, you with us?
Yeah.
You're coming in a little bit glitchy. Do you think you could probably step outside, or I don't know? I don't know. the internet works funny. I don't know. Let's see. Because you're still on the screen, so I'm gonna just close this for a second until we get it figured out. Yeah, we're gonna have just kind of see if we can get this thing figured out. So let's take a quick break. We'll be right back on Weekend at Gabe's. Hey, we're back here on Weekend at Gabe. So it looks like we got our technical issues figured out. Maestro Locke, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. Looks like you're still kind of glitching a little bit. Looks like your internet might not be too strong, your network connectivity. I think that's what be going on. But we'll see how it goes. Can you hear us?
Am I doing like weird stuff? Is my camera looking weird? I can see your picture look great. Look great.
You're looking a little bit stale, but well, maybe we can get through this with just the audio. There you go. I don't know if if they got you like kidnapped in the basement and your internet's a little bit slow. I don't know.
Hey, I'm actually just leaving the family function, so I'm doing it from their living room.
Okay, well, there you go. We'll try to muster our way through this. Hopefully, it'll go well. But thanks for giving us some time, man. Happy New Year to you and your family. How did you celebrate your New Year? Were you? I was with our last guest. A lot of us were in bed right around the time midnight struck. Were you doing anything special?
Happy New Year to you as well. I was actually struggling till midnight. I was reminded of reaching 30, getting closer, but I was struggling to stay up till midnight. I was at the crib. I was in the living room sipping champagne, all that.
Oh, okay. Well, I just had a beer, but nothing too fancy about that.
All right.
Well, congratulations on the new album, man. Adam, it's out. It's fantastic. I had a chance to listen to it in the last week. It's a really, it has a great feel and vibe around it. It definitely has a great spirit to it as well. Obviously, there's I would say a religious feel to it, or at least a spiritual feel to it. Can you talk a little bit about the title of the album and why you decided that?
For sure. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate the comments on it. The title Adam came from almost a double meaning. I wanted to make an album that was kind of geared toward the youth, to give the youth different messages, alternative messages to listen to, alternative themes, really, because I feel like a lot of what our youth is being bombarded with kind of negative themes, that lead to it's common in hip hop, negative themes and that lead to destruction. Really, passive destruction is some of the messages that are pushed in some of these songs. So I just wanted to create an album that was like, creating positive themes for the youth and just an alternative. And it's my youngest brother's name, and then also the original state of man. Adam and Eve. Just speaking on that, the original state of man and how it's been altered and moved so much from the original.
Yeah. They did the opening record. You're kind of like, I don't want to get banned or canceled like Kanye or something to that effect. Looks like we lost Maestro here on Weekend at Gabe. So we'll try to get him back. I know he was struggling with his internet connectivity, so maybe we might just want to try to we'll try to maybe get him back on next week. Let me try to reach out. Wait, let's see if he bounced back. Hang on. Looks like we got him back. Maestro, you back with us? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, that's fine. All right, cool. I don't know whatever you did. You're great now. Your video looks good. Yeah, you were saying we were just talking about like how some of that, like, you were in kind of a fear of like some of the backlash that you might get for speaking your truth. Why did you feel like that?
Then how the industry kind of treats some, say, go against, and then it's also, and I feel like it's not coming to, or maybe exalted in hip hop to not speak on topics or leave them out of your song. So yeah, it was kind of in a joking way too, like, yeah, I'm really to just giving positive message over trying to go viral.
Yeah. No, and I understand that too, and I think too. I think there is a concern about the cancel culture of having an opposing view and then that being kind of like snowballed into a person being a terrible person and are viewed as that way, even though they just have an opposing view, which we all should, have that, I guess, depending on what it is, right? Sometimes being on the right side of history is obvious and sometimes it's not. But yeah, I do have a bit of concern about that, like that saying the wrong thing at, even if it is viewed as truthful, that it could land you, like, end your career or have you, removed and disappeared.
I want to ask what your thoughts on like cancel culture and all that is. Are you for or against it?
Oh, am I for cancel culture? I don't know. I really don't. I don't think that it should be something that we just do arbitrarily. It should be. I kind of feel like it's there's some people do need to be kind of like just removed because they're just so toxic. But having an opposing view does not always make you toxic. It just means that you have a different opinion.
Yeah, I feel like some people definitely do need to be canceled, but I feel like there is a danger to this cancer culture. There's like a dangerous side to it that I don't like.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's way too much power, and and I hate to see anyone lose their livelihood over it. And I think that sometimes it's dangerous, but sometimes it's necessary. But then there's that gray area of making an honest mistake and having it transform your life. That seems scary to me, so I don't know.
And past mistakes, the part that's dark about cancel culture to me is, somebody could, be involved in doing all the right things in the now, but, if they find something 5-6 years ago, and that's, what I find problematic about it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like digging up people like teenagers, like tweets from 5 years ago, right. And sort of like if they're digging that up and then like having the like ridicule them or tearing them down. I don't know if I'm not necessarily a fan of that, like going through people's past tweets. I mean, sometimes the shit that people, if you're an adult and you're saying crazy shit 5-6 years ago, that doesn't mean, like, to me that means like you're an adult, you knew what you were doing and what you were saying, and you're just probably a bad person. But if your mind hasn't really developed as a 12, 11-year-old who's tweeting crazy shit, and now you're 19, 20, and you're going to get drafted, and someone's like, hey, look what he tweeted when he was 11. It's like, yeah, like, the brain hasn't been fully developed. It's like, I don't think that's fair for us to like tear someone down for something they tweeted at 11. Because the amount of shit that probably would have come out of my mouth when I was 11 would also probably had me canceled as well.
Right. If you look at 16, even like 15, 16-year-old me tweeting, and if I probably wouldn't have a chance. So
yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. The social media is a powerful platform for good and bad, and sometimes people get sucked into the middle. What do you call that? Collateral damage. It happens.
Yeah.
You have a great record on there called 2020, where you're like, yo, we're ready to dance out of this shit. It's like we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Well, how would you? What was the highlight and the worst moment of the last year? Can you pinpoint a high and a low moment?
Oh, that's really, really difficult last year. Any other year I might be able to do that, but this last year, a high moment. I mean, for the sake of this, for real, was really the release of my of that project, because it was something I really wanted to do, and was release a project. And actually really think of releasing the project October. I was planning on not releasing really any on beats and production, because I'm a producer as well, so more on beats. And that was probably the high point. I mean, it's a lot because I had a lot of family that survived. There's a lot since in 2020, but that was a high point with releasing that. There's a lot of low points too. Starting off the year with Kobe dying, and a lot of just losing a lot of great people. And my grandfather died this year, so that was a low point. He got diagnosed with cancer, so that was a pretty low point. But I know it's been a dark year for most, but overall 2020 has been a blessed year for me and my family. So
yeah, I Facebook messaged last night. It's like, you made it. Congrats. Like, if you were able to see through this year, like you know, that's an accomplishment because of just like all the obstacles.
That's kind of where the song 2020 came from. Was like just trying to. I wanted to have a song rating, getting out, and making it out alive.
Yeah. There's another. Before I ask another question about the album, so like with the production on this album, like how much are you responsible for?
So I had an EP Science of the Soul before, and that one I was maybe 90%, 95% of the production, all the beats. This one I was a little more hands off with the production because I wanted to focus more on the writing and the the themes and the messages. But I produced 2020. That was me on the music on 2020. Okay. I produced I produced number 10 Blue Streak. I produced 3 or 4 on the project, but I really wanted to showcase the really talented producers around me on this project and with the production. So I bring in a team of producers for this one.
All right, fantastic. Another record that really stood out to me was like Chicago. It's like it, just highlights the appreciation for all the icons that have come through, but also pointing out some of the negative things that have also are attributed to the city as well. When you were writing that, did that kind of come naturally, or did you have to like really pinpoint what you were trying to message as far as this contrast between the beauty of the city, but also some of the not so great things?
Quite honestly, some songs, took a little bit more, but Chicago was really one that came very, very naturally. Like maybe about 30, 40 minutes of writing. It was my buddy Lloyd Johnson sent me the beat, and as soon as I heard the beat, it's like the concept of making it a hometown song, and really the lyrics came within a matter of an hour. That one particularly, it came really. It's like it's a lot of things is like stuff I'm just about grieving like tickets. My car's been towed a couple of times to call out the city for that, and yeah. So that one first came naturally. That one it took me about 5 minutes to write the song in entirety. Once I heard the beat, some songs when I hear the beat, it just catches me in a way, which is a little bit more rare. But that was one that just caught me where it's like as soon as I heard the beat, the concept came in.
Yeah. Well, what is like? Were you born, raised in Chicago? Like, what part of the city did you grow up in?
So my parents are actually from Belize and Jamaica. They immigrated here, so I'm first generation.
Oh.
Me and all my siblings. There's 9 of us, a lot of us. So we're all first generation. We actually grew up. We bounced around from south side of Chicago when we were younger to Chicago Heights, which is actually suburbs of Chicago. And then in my later years, around 22, 23, 24, I moved back to the south side with a roommate and been living in the city. South side really for the last 6 years, 5, 6 years. So
yeah. So wow, you have 8 siblings, 8 other siblings.
Yeah.
That's wild.
We were actually on Oprah once for having a huge family. She did like a little special on family. Quite an experience.
Oh, like what was you meeting Oprah? What was that like?
I could give you a real fake answer. I don't want to ruin her image.
I would dare not never say anything about Queen Oprah. So if you want to be like, if you want to get politically correct, yeah.
I share a story with a lot of people about Oprah that is like, yeah, and they're like, nah, she didn't do that. I'm like, she did. Yeah. She's kind of, I just say this, who people are behind cameras and in front of cameras. As a kid, I was 7 years old, so it's not like I have the greatest memory. She used from my memory of her, and especially as a kid feel like, the vibe. But yeah, so she gives away stuff though. So.
I was about to say, did you guys get like a new home or anything?
No, we didn't. She actually wanted us. She actually wanted to charge us for parking, and we were on the show. So originally, my dad had to make some noise, and then she sent a limo for us. But yeah.
Wow. right.
Yeah.
I imagine this was like pre like Oprah before like she was like checking out. That's when she got like really like loose with the giveaways because she's like, I'm going off TV anyways. I don't care. So you guys missed your window a little bit.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. Yeah, being in a big family all together is a great experience. I like me personally. I don't have any kids. I don't really desire to have a big family like that. But it was being in a big family is a fun experience for sure.
Yeah. Did like immigrating for your family, was that a challenging experience, and how does that how does that incorporate into the music of telling your journey, your family's journey into the American experience?
For sure, because they're from the Caribbean. Um, from a music standpoint, I feel like Caribbean music does influence a lot of American music. I grew up listening to a lot of reggae. My dad, listened to a lot of reggae, and reggae really influenced, a lot of what I do musically. From a cultural standpoint, it was a little different in terms of diets a little, because from the outside, you might perceive as African American, but which it's just like differences in culture from Caribbean American to, so that was a little, cultural differences there. But then just the problem, my dad really coming here with basically nothing and making something for himself, always really like drive me to just do the best in what I'm doing, because yeah, if he came here with nothing and made something, there's really no excuse.
Yeah. Well, what does he think about the music that you make?
My dad just started getting in tune. He actually is a fan of my latest album, and he's told me this is his favorite. I've released 4 projects over the time I've been making music, and this is definitely his favorite. Adam, he he's a traditionally Christian man, so he definitely rocks with the themes, and then he likes it sonically as well, which is my goal to like make it sonically still sound good, and it's not like it's too preachy.
Yeah. I wonder if he cringes at some of the explicit words, though.
Oh yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah, when I mentioned the weed smoking, he doesn't like that. So, but my parents are amazing people and understanding people, and they might not agree with everything, but they have over the years they just grow more and more supportive, especially when they see their little boy isn't giving up.
That's great, man. Well, I mean, the album is fantastic. It's out on all digital streaming platforms. Maestro Locke. It's a great listen to. I appreciate you putting that together and getting it into my getting it in my ears, because I was mentioning that near the end of the year you're reaching out to me, and I was just kind of like, no, I'm not doing this right now.
I apologize for talking like I did. I really did. I was like,
don't apologize. No, at all. No, don't apologize at all. I had just gone into, and I mentioned this with my last guest, like I kind of went into this cocoon where I just really need to just reflect, and I wasn't really welcoming anything new in, and I just really wanted to just shut down. And so, but I appreciate your persistence, because I really enjoyed the record, and I'm glad that you shared it with me, because I thought it was a really fantastic effort. So don't apologize. You're an independent artist trying to get people to listen, and if you need to do that, that's fine. So you haven't made any enemies with me, so it's cool. But I let people know.
I'm just glad you enjoyed it for real, like that. I'm glad you enjoyed it and took the time to listen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely did. Man, well, let us know. Keep us posted with anything else you're doing. We'd love to have you back in 2021 if you decide to follow this up with another release, or if you let this one breathe for a bit. But either way, just keep us posted, and we'd love to have you back.
We'll do. All
right. Maestro, please tell people where they can follow you on the social medias.
Oh, for sure. You can find my IG at Maestro Locke, Maestro Locke. You can find me on YouTube, the Maestro Locke channel, same spelling. And you can find the Adam Project on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, all the streaming services.
So, yeah, it's everywhere. So
everywhere.
Good deal, man. Good deal, man. Well, have a happy new year once again, man. Bless to you, and best wishes to you and your family in the new year. I'm sure there's great things to come. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do next.
All right, likewise. Happy New Year. This has been awesome.
All right, thank you. Maestro Locke joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. That's going to be our time. We'll be back next Tuesday with some more guests that we don't have booked yet, but we'll figure it out at some point in the next few days. So look, keep following us on the social medias at Weekend Gabe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go Bears. Please win. Please win. Please win. And we'll do it again next Tuesday right here on Weekend at Gabe. Weekend Gabe. Have a good night.